Freelancing is such an amazing way to earn online, but how do you know what kind of freelancer you should be or what kind of freelancer you want to be? With so many options out there, how do you choose the right niche or specialty for you? So, welcome back to our channel. This is the second episode in our series, What is Freelancing and the Niches in Freelancing. In the first episode, we talked about what is freelancing, what is a virtual assistant, basically describing what it is. So if you haven't seen that yet, you can click it here, or in the description down below so you can watch that first episode. For this episode 2, we are going to break down the different specialties and niches that you can figure out so that you can figure out which path fits you the best. By the end of this video, you're going to have, of course, a clearer idea of what skills you need to focus on, which services you can offer as a freelancer or as a VA. But before we dive in, let me introduce myself. My name is Mia. I started out as an executive virtual assistant way back in 2021. Prior to being an EVA, I did not have any experience in freelancing, let alone in becoming a virtual assistant. My expertise during that time was I was a wedding and events planner and as a call center employee or a BPO employee. Now, I am a training and onboarding manager. I hire and train executive virtual assistants, and I also do content, or I am a content creator. I also do public speaking. Enough about me. If you want to learn more about me, you can follow me on all of my channels. Everything will be in the link in the caption below. Since we're going to talk about specialization and niches, let's first describe what is a niche. A lot of people who's just starting or just discovering virtual assistant or freelancing usually ask, what is a niche? So niche is basically, or to simplify that term, it's just your specialty. What is your specialty as a freelancer or as a VA? Like for me, my niche is executive virtual assistant. That is my specialty. A lot of my friends, they're specialized in social media management, graphic artist, podcast VA. We're going to talk about all of those niches, the top niches or specialty that you can explore when you're trying to discover this virtual assistant industry. You're going to ask, why is it important to find out what your specialty is or what your niche is? First reason is because high-paying clients prefer VAs or remote workers who have specialties instead of being a generalist. It's easier for them to work with someone who they know what they're bringing to the table instead of working with someone who's trying out different things. And that's why it's important for you to identify what your specialty is or your niche. Second reason is, of course, it's easier for you to market yourself. As a freelancer, if you have a specialty. Now, why do you need to market yourself? Always remember, when you decide to become a freelancer, a virtual assistant, or a remote worker, you actually already own your own business and you are selling your services. So it's very important that you know what your specialty is so that you know what it is that you're selling to the clients. Another reason is that you can build on your expertise and make a long-term career out of your niche. Just like me, I started off as an executive virtual assistant. I did try to venture out of being an EVA. I tried being a social media manager. I tried being a podcast manager, but I still go back to being an executive virtual assistant. And that's when I stopped looking and I decided to just focus on this expertise. And this is where I started to build my career. I started to build my portfolio and I started to build my brand. So that's how, those are the top 3 reasons why it's important for you to have a specialty. But there are, of course, a lot of other reasons. You can check out other content creators to find out more, but that's the main focus. And that's the importance of choosing what your niche or specialty is. Now let's dive into the meat of the discussion. What are the popular freelancing or remote work niches out there, especially during this time, 2025? Let's start off with the basics. General virtual assistant. As a general virtual assistant, your expertise are mainly on administrative tasks like emails, calendar or scheduling, data entry, organization, your basic customer report, researching. So those are mainly admin tasks. The reason why being a general virtual assistant is considered as a specialty or a niche, because usually this is the starting point of a lot of people who's just being introduced to freelancing. If you don't know what your specialty is, then you can start off as a general VA and then branch out from there. As a general virtual assistant, what are the important tools that you need to learn? We have Gmail or Google Workspace. Within Google Workspace, you have Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Drive, and then you have Google Docs, Slides, Sheets, Docs, and all of those tools within the Google Workspace environment. You should also learn how to use Microsoft Office. You have Word, Excel, PowerPoint, because some companies or clients will be using the Microsoft environment, wherein you have your Outlook and then your Outlook calendar. So you have to familiarize yourself with these different tools and environments or workspaces so that you are flexible whatever type of client it is that you get. If you want to learn advanced tools when it comes to being a general VA, you can learn project management tools such as Notion, ClickUp, or Asana. Another popular niche is writing and content creation, or copywriting and content creation. Under writing and content creation, you have your copywriting, you have your email marketing or newsletters and sales funnels. So these are very specialized specialty. So if you are someone who loves to write, whether it be poetry, literature writing, or technical writing, you can dive into learning how to do copywriting or content writing. Now, what really brings in the money is copywriting, because copywriting is where you create sales pages or content in a website that will convert followers or audience into paying customers. That's why copywriting is such in high demand, and copywriting pays really well because you convert your audience into sales or you convert them into paying customers. So if you are good in technical writing, then you might want to learn how to do copywriting. Another niche in copywriting is SEO writing or niche articles. You have to learn how to search engine optimize your copies or your content. This goes hand in hand, of course, with copywriting. So anything that has to do with content creation or writing, you have to learn how to search engine optimize all of your content. And then we also have email marketing. So you can learn how to create newsletters or sales funnels. But sales funnels is a little bit more technical. It's a whole environment. I love the word environment now. But anyway, you can focus on creating email marketing or captions or blogs or scripts. So you can focus on anything that has to do with writing, which is also a very good niche and a good paying niche or specialty. The next specialty here is more on the creative side. So if that's graphic design and branding, if you're someone who likes to draw, if you are someone who likes to edit photos online using Photoshop or Canva, then you can become a graphic designer or anything that has to do with branding. You can create logos, you can create content, you can use either Canva, or if you're more advanced, you can use Photoshop. If you're someone who knows how to draw, then you can have your iPad with you and then you can convert your drawings into virtual content. The people who can become graphic artists are those who are really creative, because this entails a lot of creative juices for you to produce content and drawings and branding and logos. So this is something that a lot of creative people will definitely enjoy. Now, what are the things that you have to learn or tools that you have to learn? Of course, if you're starting out, you can use Canva. There are a lot of templates under Canva. There's also this one tool, Kittle. I've been seeing it around. You can also use that. To have more advanced skills, you'll learn how to use, I think, InDesign or Photoshop. anything that has to do with Adobe tools. This is something that you can learn so that you will be more advanced into your graphic design skills or branding skills. The next specialty is social media management or marketing. So this has everything that has to do with social media, from TikTok to Instagram to Facebook page to X to your YouTube channel to your podcast. So anything that has to do with creating content in social media, you can do this. A lot of newbies in the virtual assistant or remote work industry first try out social media management. There are a lot of clients that you can get as a social media manager. As long as you've studied social media management, you know how to read analytics, you know how to create a content calendar, you know how to onboard your client properly so that you can properly produce the output, then you can become a social media manager. All of the niche that we are talking about here, or all of the specialty that we are talking about here, whether it be a newbie-friendly niche or specialty or an advanced specialty, you need to do a lot of research to prepare you for you to properly onboard your client and make sure that they have a premium experience when they are working with you. If you want to learn about how to properly onboard your client, then subscribe to my channel, and we're going to talk about that in the next few videos into the next series, I believe. But definitely we are going to talk about how you can properly onboard and provide a great client experience for your clients. Another niche that you can tie into social media management or marketing would definitely Facebook ads or social media ads, wherein you will help your client post ads on different social media platforms and then convert those ads into sales or followers or growth or anything that your client's focus or goals are. Then you can become expert in that. There is also a lot of money when it comes to social media ads. You have Google ads, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Instagram ads, so on and so forth. There is a lot of customers who are willing to pay remote workers who are specializing in paid ads. So do your research into this. I've done some quick research about this because I wanted to also offer this before, but nope. I am an executive virtual assistant all throughout. The next niche would be still under creatives. This is video editing and production. So if you're someone who likes to create content, you've been using CapCut for years, and you know how to use color grading or to do color grading, you know how to edit YouTube videos that would really entice a lot of viewers, then becoming a video editor is something that you can learn how to do or you can offer to your clients. The tools that you need to learn how to use, of course, is CapCut, or I think my brother uses InDesign. I'm not sure. But I've never tried doing video editing. That's actually what I hate the most about content creation. That's why I have an amazing social media manager. Her name is Tracy, and she has been doing all of my content. So if you're someone who loves to edit, then you can become a video editor, and that would be your specialty. Another niche or specialization under this can be a combination of technical and creative, and that would be web design. You can use tools like Wix if you don't want to do coding, but if you are someone who likes to do coding, then you can learn how to be a developer. You can do back end, front end. You can do back end, front end, and then UX, UI. Oh, I know those things. That's because my clients industry is in web design or in developer, in teaching others how to be a developer. So I know a little thing or two about web design. And I also love making websites. When I was a wedding and events planner, I was the one who created our website and wedding and events using Wix. And then one of the things or one of the products that we offer to our couples is creating their RSVP website. And I loved doing that. I think that's where my creative side really flourished during the time. But that's because Wix was such an easy tool to use. So if you are someone who also loves to create websites, then you can try using Wix as one of your tools, but you can also try using Squarespace. I've seen this recently, and it's something that's kind of a Wix setup as well, wherein you just drag and drop, copy paste templates, move things around. You don't have to do coding at all. So that's something that you can definitely venture into and becoming your specialty. There are a lot of clients that you can offer web design as your specialty, because a lot of companies are focusing on social media or the internet, and they all need to have websites. So that's something that you can definitely look into. The next specialty or niche this is for people who loves numbers, and this is finance and bookkeeping. I hate numbers. Since I was in elementary, I've failed math. When I was in college, I already copied from a friend and I still failed math. So math is not something that I really like. But if you love numbers, then you can become a finance or a bookkeeping virtual assistant. This is where the money comes in as well. Because as a bookkeeping assistant or as a bookkeeping VA, you can have multiple clients. You can charge $1,000 a month per client. If you have 5 clients, that's already $5,000 a month. And I'm very, very jealous of people who are bookkeepers, because that really is usually where the money is, especially if you love math or if you have a background in accounting or bookkeeping. Now, just make sure that you know these things when you want to become a bookkeeping VA. You have to learn the tools QuickBooks and Xero. And you also have to find out the tax filing and tax laws in the US, so that you can properly assist your clients when it comes to their bookkeeping or finance requirements. Another niche that's very big here in the Philippines or in the virtual assistant or remote work industry is e-commerce VA. If you are someone who has background in selling, you are an online seller and now you want to become a virtual assistant, being an e-commerce virtual assistant is definitely a good niche or specialty for you. That's because e-commerce clients have stores in Amazon or Etsy or their own website or Shopify. So they are looking for VAs that will help them search for products, will help them post products, will help them with customer service or after sales customer service. So this is definitely a good niche for you if you like online selling. What you need to learn, or the tools that you need to learn how to use, is of course Amazon. You have to familiarize yourself with that website. Etsy, Shopify, if you have clients that have TikTok shops, because TikTok shop is also available in the US, then you have to familiarize yourself with that. You should also familiarize yourself with posting on their website or online, especially in Pinterest, because there are a lot of conversion happening in Pinterest directing to their online shop or directed to their Shopify or their Etsy shop. So you have to learn how to do this. I did dive into e-commerce VA for a little while, but I still go back to my niche. I still go back to my specialty, and that's our next specialty here, and that's executive virtual assistant. Now, as an executive virtual assistant, you are, I keep saying this, a Jack and Jill of all trades. I heard this from another content creator. You do a lot of things for your client, but at the end of the day, as an executive virtual assistant, what you are is a partner or an advisor and a confidant to your client, because you do everything for them. You know their business, you know their personal life, you take care of their family, you take care of their business, of the company. You are the go-to person for their whole life. You manage their inbox, you manage their calendar, you champion all of these things for your client. So you have to learn a lot of different things. And that's the reason why I tried to learn social media management, some writing, I did e-commerce, I didn't do real estate, I did podcast. So I have to learn a lot of these small things so that I can assist my client properly. And that's what an executive virtual assistant does. You have to learn a lot of these small things or these small expertise so that you can properly assist your client. But at the end of the day, if your client needs a podcast VA and you are an EA, though you do have a little bit of background about podcast VA, you still have to hire a podcast VA because you can't do anything all at the same time. But you have to just make sure that as an executive assistant, you are there to become an extension of your client. You will represent your client most of the time, even if your client is not around. So you are the representative of your client when you attend meetings or any events. And that's what I love about being an executive virtual assistant, because I learned so much from my executive. In turn, I become an executive as well. Not just an assistant, but I learned how to start my own business. I learned how to become how to manage my time and all of those things. So if you are very ambitious, if you are someone who's very ambitious and you also want to have your own business, but at the same time you want to have that 8 to 5 job and be a remote worker, then becoming an executive virtual assistant is definitely the best route for you. This is also something that you can do when you already touched base with being a general VA and you want to level up your expertise. Then moving up to becoming an executive virtual assistant is the next stage for you. And if you want to learn more about how to become an EVA, I have a lot of content and tutorials about that. You can also join my free learning center. Everything will be linked in the description down below. I also have a paid online course, a detailed paid online course on how to become an executive virtual assistant. Everything will be in the link in the description down below. The next set of specialties are based on the industry of the client. We have real estate virtual assistants, where you will assist real estate agents from the US or from the UK or from Australia. You will be helping them with lead generation. You will be helping them with listings. Sometimes you have to post on their social media account. You also have to do document processing or transaction coordinating. I do have a very good friend who is a transaction coordinator for a big real estate company. You can follow him. His name is AJ De Leon or AJ Tycoon VA. We usually do webinars together. So if you want to learn how to become a real estate virtual assistant, you can follow him. I'll post a picture of him, and the link will be in the description down below. He did not have any experience in real estate virtual assistant when he started, so he did just his research, and that's the specialty that he offered, and he loved that. So if you are in the beginning stages of your remote work research, you can see if you also want to become a real estate VA, because there are a lot of clients who are looking for real estate VAs. Next industry specific VA is legal virtual assistants. This is where you assist lawyers, judge, or law firms. I don't know much about this. I do have a friend who does legal virtual assistant, but I'm not sure if he still creates content about it. But I know he has a course within Bloggy Mary's group. I will also have that available in the description down below if you are interested in becoming a legal VA. And last but definitely not the least, an industry-specific specialty is your medical virtual assistant. This is where we get a lot of money as well, or really great income. As a medical virtual assistant, you help doctors, nurses, or clinics or hospital in whatever assistance they need. So if you are someone who has a medical background, let's say you are a nurse or a vet, we do have veterinarians, vet VAs as well. So if you're someone with medical background or you worked in the medical industry before, I know there are agencies or companies that are looking to hire medical virtual assistants. So this might be something that's right for you. Now, knowing you might be overwhelmed with all of the information and all of the specialty or niches that I just mentioned, what I want to talk about right now is how you can choose the right niche for you. So we have 4 steps to make things easier and more structured when you are trying to look for what niche you should have. First, or step 1, is to identify what your existing skills or your experiences are. So for me, my most recent experience was a wedding and events planner. So I do a lot of things for my business and for my client. And that's why when I was looking for a remote work job, being an executive assistant with a job description really is what stood out, because that's where my expertise is: calendar management, inbox management, business management, project management. So that's where my niche is. or my specialty is. If you are someone who has background in nursing, just like what I recently mentioned, then you can be a medical VA. You can go back to you can rewind this video as I've mentioned what your skills are, what's the perfect skill is if you for a specific niche. So you can just rewind this video and see and match your skills, current skills, or expertise or experience in that specific niche that you're looking for. Step 2, now that you know what your skills are, your experience is, what you like to do, then you research on the niche that you feel like is the closest to what you want to do. Research on the tools that you need to learn, try to follow content creators that are sharing, that are expert in that specific niche that you want to learn, and then do all of your research, prepare, create some sample scenarios, create your portfolio even if you don't have a client yet, and then focus on that, and then you can learn more about that specific specialty. Step 3 is if, for example, you're confused. There are so many niche. What you can do is start as a general VA first. Become a generalist before becoming a specialist. So you can take that route. You can offer a general VA so that you can have a taste of what being a virtual assistant is, or you can become an EVA immediately, but make sure that you do your research, and then you can dive into that specific niches as you go along, and that's when you'll start offering a specialty. And step 4 is to make sure that you test the market. Try to have different freelance jobs, especially if you don't know what your specialty is. Like I mentioned, become a generalist first before becoming a specialist. I know that there are many freelance or remote work specialty out there. There's so much more than what I just mentioned, which means there is a lot of work out there for everybody. As long as you do your research, as long as you prepare, and as long as you make sure that you read the job description before applying, don't be trigger happy when you're applying. Make sure that you read the job description and see if that's something that you can already offer. I know it also feels like the virtual assistant industry is so saturated, but there is still a lot of work out there that's available for everyone. You just have to make sure that you brand yourself properly, you prepare for the role, you do your research, and you read the job description. In the next episode coming in on Thursday, we are going to talk about what an executive virtual assistant is, since we're already in the road of niches. And that's my expertise. I will introduce to you what an executive virtual assistant is. I will try my best to go into the details and the meat of what an executive virtual assistant is, so that if that is something that you feel like you can do, then you can join me, because I am constantly hiring executive virtual assistants. I do post job postings for EVAs that will be in the description down below. So if you feel like you are ready to become an EVA after watching that video next week, so make sure that you watch next week, then you can start applying. The next thing that you're going to do is, of course, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification button so that you will be alerted once that video is available on Thursday. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope this also excites you on your path or your journey in becoming a successful remote worker or a virtual assistant. And I'll see you on our next video. Bye.